Once upon a time, in a cozy village surrounded by tall green trees, there lived a cheerful little girl named Lena, though everyone called her Little Red Riding Hood. She always wore a soft red hooded cape her grandmother had sewn for her. It was bright as a cherry and made her easy to spot even from far away. Every morning, Lena helped her mother pick herbs in the garden and feed the chickens. She loved running among the flowers, humming songs, and watching butterflies dance in the sunshine. One sunny day, while Lena was playing with her cat, her mother called, "Lena, sweetheart. Could you come here a moment?" "Yes, Mama," she said, skipping inside. Her mother smiled, holding a little wicker basket filled with fresh bread, sweet jam, and a small bottle of honey. "Grandmother isn't feeling very well today," she said. "Would you take this basket to her house? It will cheer her up." "Oh yes," Lina's eyes sparkled. She loved visiting her grandmother, who lived in a cozy cottage on the other side of the forest. "Can I bring her flowers, too?" "Of course," said her mother. "But remember, my darling, don't leave the main path. And don't talk to strangers. Promise?" Lena nodded eagerly. "I promise, Mama. I'll go straight to Grandma's and come straight back." Her mother kissed her on the forehead. "Good girl, now off you go, my Little Red Riding Hood." Lena placed the basket carefully in her arms, waved goodbye, and began her journey. The forest was bright and full of birdsong. Sunlight streamed through the trees like golden ribbons. Everything smelled of pine and flowers. As she walked, she sang softly to herself, "Through the forest I go, with my basket in tow, to Grandma's sweet home, where the wild flowers grow." She stopped now and then to look at mushrooms, to listen to a woodpecker tapping, or to smell a wild rose. The forest felt friendly, like a place full of little secrets. But somewhere behind a tree, a pair of curious eyes were watching her. They belonged not to a scary creature, but to a clever forest wolf, gray and sleek, with shiny fur and a twitching tail. This wolf wasn't exactly mean, but he was very curious and always looking for a chance to get some extra snacks. He stepped out quietly, pretending to be polite. "Good morning, young lady," he said with a friendly grin. Lena turned around, a little surprised but not afraid. "Good morning, Mr. Wolf," she said politely, just like her mother had taught her. "And where might you be going on such a lovely morning?" asked the wolf, tilting his head. "I'm going to visit my grandmother," said Lena proudly. "She's not feeling well, so I'm bringing her bread and jam to make her smile again." "How kind of you," said the wolf, nodding. "And where does your grandmother live?" "On the other side of the forest," said Lena, pointing, "in a cozy house with blue shutters and a big apple tree in front." The wolf smiled. "That's very nice. Well, I must be off, lots to do today." He bowed and disappeared among the trees. Lena waved. "Goodbye, Mr. Wolf," she said, then continued walking happily down the path. But as soon as she couldn't see him anymore, the wolf's grin grew wider. He murmured to himself, "a basket full of treats and a sweet little girl walking to a house in the woods. Maybe there's something delicious waiting for me, too," and with a flick of his tail, he ran through a shortcut he knew, straight toward Grandma's house. Meanwhile, Lena picked a few daisies and sang another verse of her song, unaware of what the clever wolf was planning next. But while Little Red was smelling the daisies, someone else was already knocking on Grandma's door. While Little Red Riding Hood skipped along the sunny path, the forest around her hummed with life. Birds sang in the branches. A squirrel dashed up a tree with an acorn in its mouth. Lena smiled at everything. She loved this place so much she sometimes forgot time itself. But not far away, the wolf was racing through the forest on his secret shortcut. He knew every twist and turn of those woods. And soon he reached the little clearing where Grandmother's house stood. It was a lovely cottage. White walls, a thatched roof, and blue shutters that sparkled in the sunlight. The air smelled like apple pie and lavender soap. The wolf crept closer and sniffed the air. I smell something sweet," he whispered. "Jam, honey, and maybe some cookies too." His stomach gave a little growl. He walked up to the door and knocked gently. "Knock, knock." From inside came a weak but kind voice. "Who's there?" The wolf cleared his throat and said in his softest voice, "It's me, Little Red Riding Hood, Grandmother. I've brought you some bread and jam." "Oh, what a sweet surprise," said Grandma. "Come in, dear. The door is open." The wolf tiptoed inside, his paws silent on the wooden floor. He looked around. Everything was cozy and warm. A pot of tea steamed on the table and a tiny cat slept on the windowsill. Grandmother was sitting up in bed, wearing her soft nightcap. When she saw the wolf, she blinked behind her glasses. "Oh my, you're certainly not Little Red." The wolf quickly waved his paws. "Oh, don't worry, Grandmother. I'm not here to frighten you. I just wanted to rest a bit. I ran so fast through the woods that I'm terribly tired." Grandmother chuckled. "Well, my goodness. You do look exhausted. You can rest in that chair for a moment if you promise to behave." "I promise," said the wolf, already settling himself comfortably. He stretched his paws and sighed. But as he sat there, he started thinking, if I rest now, That little girl will be here soon with a basket full of goodies. What if I borrow Grandma's nightcap and surprise her? He turned to Grandma. You know, I think your granddaughter would find it funny if you wore my hat instead of yours, he said playfully. Grandmother laughed. You silly wolf, but all right. Let's play a joke on her. So the wolf placed Grandma's nightcap on his head and wrapped a shawl around his shoulders. He even put on her glasses. Grandma giggled so hard she had to cover her mouth with her blanket. You look absolutely ridiculous. The wolf grinned. Perfect. Now I'll wait here, and when Little Red comes in, we'll both say surprise. Just then, Grandma's cat stretched, looked at the wolf, and gave a suspicious meow. Hush, Poppy, said Grandma. It's just a bit of fun. Outside, footsteps crunched on the forest path. Little Red was finally near. She hummed her cheerful tune, her basket swinging lightly. Grandma will be so happy when she sees the flowers, she thought, and I can tell her all about the butterfly I saw. The wolf's ears twitched. She's coming, quick, he whispered. Grandma hid behind the curtain, trying not to giggle. The wolf jumped into the bed, pulling the blanket up to his chin. There was a soft knock on the door. Grandmother, it's me, Little Red Riding Hood, come in. My dear, said the wolf in his best grandma voice. Lena stepped inside, her eyes sparkling. Oh, Grandma, I brought you bread and jam. And she paused. Something looked a little funny. Why, Grandma, she said slowly, your ears look so big today. The wolf tried not to laugh. All the better to hear you with, my dear, and your eyes, said Lena, giggling. They're so big too. All the better to see you with, and your teeth. She stopped, thinking hard. They look very shiny today. The wolf couldn't help himself. He burst out laughing. All the better to eat cookies with, he said, showing his biggest grin. Lena stared, then started laughing too. Oh, Mr. Wolf, it's you. I should have known. Just then, Grandma came out from behind the curtain, laughing so much her glasses slipped down her nose. Surprise, she said. Lena clapped her hands. That was the funniest joke ever. The three of them laughed and laughed until their sides hurt. Even the cat joined in with a happy meow. The joke had worked perfectly, but none of them expected the next surprise, waiting outside the window. Just as Grandma, Little Red, and the wolf were finishing their laughter, there came a gentle tap 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 at the window. Everyone turned. Outside stood a bluebird with shiny feathers, holding something in its beak, a tiny silver key. Oh, said Lena. That looks like the key to Grandma's garden gate. Grandma clapped her hands. I must have dropped it yesterday. Thank you, dear bird. The bird chirped proudly and fluttered inside, placing the key right on the table. The wolf watched, amazed. Even the birds here are helpful, he said. That's because Grandma's house is special. Lena said, everyone in the forest loves her. Grandma smiled, and now that includes you. Mr. Wolf, would you like some tea? The wolf's ears perked up. Tea? Oh yes, please. Soon they were all sipping warm tea and eating buttered bread. The wolf told funny stories about life in the forest. How squirrels sometimes played hide and seek with nuts and how hedgehogs snored louder than owls. Lena laughed until she spilled a drop of jam on her cape. Careful, dear, said Grandma, that red cape is your trademark. I know, giggled Lena. If I ever lose it, nobody will recognize me. Outside, the sun began to slide behind the trees, painting the forest gold. It's getting late, said Grandma. Perhaps you should stay the night. Oh no, Mama told me to come straight home, said Lena, but I'll visit again soon. The wolf stood up. I'll walk you part of the way, he offered kindly. As they stepped into the golden light of the evening, they didn't know that something sparkling was waiting on the forest path. Lena Red Riding Hood and the wolf walked side by side beneath the tall trees. The air smelled of pine and honey. Suddenly Lena noticed tiny sparkles on the ground. What's that? She asked, crouching. It looks like glitter. The wolf sniffed. Not glitter, that's fairy dust. Fairy dust, gasped Lena. Do fairies live here? The wolf nodded. Sometimes they visit at sunset. Maybe one dropped her pouch of sparkles. Lina's eyes grew wide. Let's follow the trail. They followed the shimmering dust until they reached a small clearing with a ring of glowing mushrooms. In the middle stood a little fairy, no taller than a teacup, looking worried. Oh dear. Oh dear, she said, fluttering her wings. I lost my key to the flower gate. Lena smiled. Do you mean this one? She held up the tiny silver key the bird had brought earlier. The fairy gasped. That's it. Thank you. As a reward, she waved her wand and a rainbow shimmer filled the air. If you ever get lost, she said, follow the butterflies. They'll guide you home. Then she vanished like a spark of light. The wolf blinked. That was magical. Lena nodded. I think Grandma's forest is full of surprises. But while they admired the rainbow glow, something rustled in the bushes behind them. Out of the bushes hopped a small white rabbit, trembling. Oh, hello, said Lena Little Red Riding Hood. Are you all right? The bunny sniffled. I lost my family. We were gathering carrots, and I hopped too far. Lena knelt down. Don't worry, we'll help you find them. The wolf wagged His tail, I'm good at tracking smells, let's go. Together they followed faint paw prints through the ferns until they reached a sunny meadow, where 3 other rabbits were nibbling clover. Bunny, cried Lena, there they are. The little rabbit bounded forward, squealing with joy. Thank you, Lena smiled. Everyone should find their way home. The wolf looked thoughtful. Maybe I should have a home too, somewhere cozy like Grandma's house. You're welcome there anytime, said Lena kindly. The forest seemed happier now, but a rumble in the distance made them stop and look up. Dark clouds rolled in and thunder rumbled softly. Oh no, cried Lena. Rain, the wolf lifted his nose. Quick, there's a hollow tree nearby. They ran to shelter just as fat raindrops began to fall. Inside the tree, it was dry and snug. Lena giggled. It's like a little house. The wolf nodded. And listen, the rain is playing music. Indeed, the raindrops drummed a gentle tune on the leaves. Lena started to hum along. Pitter-patter, rain's so fine, sing your song and I'll sing mine. When the storm passed, the air smelled fresh and clean. A rainbow stretched across the sky. Look, said Lena. Just like the fairies' magic, they stepped out, their spirits high, and started the last stretch of the journey. Home was near, but a tiny voice was calling from the edge of the path. They looked around and saw a hedgehog stuck in a puddle. Poor thing, said Lena. She picked up a long stick and gently helped the hedgehog climb out. Thank you, squeaked the hedgehog. I was looking for my favorite apple and slipped. The wolf sniffed. Is this your apple? He pulled one from a bush. Yes. Thank you both. The hedgehog smiled and waddled away. Lena laughed. Today is full of helping. It feels nice, doesn't it? Said the wolf. Much better than playing tricks. Lena nodded. Maybe that's why everyone loves Grandma. She always helps. The wolf smiled shyly. Maybe everyone could love me too. Of course they can, said Lena. You're already my friend. They didn't notice the golden butterfly that had begun to follow them. The golden butterfly fluttered ahead, its wings glowing softly. It's guiding us, said Lena. The fairies promise. They followed it through the trees until they saw the lights of the village. There's my home, Lena cried. She turned to the wolf. Would you like to meet my mama? The wolf hesitated. Do you think she'd like me? Lena smiled. You helped me all day. She'll love you. When they arrived, Mama opened the door. Surprised. Oh, Lena, you're safe and you brought the friend. Yes, Mama, this is Mr. Wolf. He helped me and Grandma too. The wolf bowed politely. Good evening. Ma'am, Mama smiled. Any friend who helps my girl is welcome here. As they sat down for supper, none of them knew that Grandma was planning a surprise for tomorrow. The next morning, Grandma arrived at their door with a basket full of treats. Good morning, she called. I've come to thank Mr. Wolf properly. Inside the basket were honey cakes shaped like hearts. For our brave helpers, Grandma said. Lena, the wolf, and even the bluebird who brought the key, everyone laughed and shared the cakes. The wolf licked honey from his paw. Best breakfast ever, Grandma winked. There's more, I made something special for you. Mr. Wolf, she pulled out a small green scarf, soft and warm. Now you'll have your own color. Just like Lina's red hood, the wolf's eyes sparkled. Thank you, I'll wear it always. And so, with cake crumbs and laughter, a new friendship was just beginning. Weeks passed. The forest stayed peaceful, and every few days Lena visited Grandma, sometimes with the wolf trotting beside her. They told stories, baked bread, and listened to the birds. One afternoon, as the sun dipped low, Lena said, Do you remember the day we first met, Mr. Wolf? The wolf laughed. How could I forget? I wore a nightcap. They both giggled. Grandma poured tea, and what did we learn, children? Lena thought. That helping others makes life brighter, and added the wolf. That even a clever wolf can be kind. They raised their cups together to kindness, courage, and friendship. Outside, the golden butterfly fluttered past the window once more, a tiny sparkle reminding them that the forest was full of magic for those with kind hearts. And from that day on, whenever Little Red Riding Hood walked through the woods, everyone, birds, rabbits, even fairies, greeted her cheerfully. Because they all knew, in this forest, goodness always finds its way home. The end.
Curious Bee, learning is fun.